All right, wonderful people, lovers of freedom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you. Welcome back to Let's Talk TV, your one and only YouTube platform where they're giving a back-to-back update on how things they be, on how things they shell for Biafran land. Yes, my people. Yes, if you're joining us for the first time, remember to subscribe and turn on your notifications too. Also, remember to like and share this broadcast as it is hot. Alright, my wonderful people, the latest one with the boss brains right now. They say, yes, Zoo Police has invaded the principal of Stars of Nation School. Yes, accusing him of being involved with a bad governance protest. Yes, saying that he was involved with financing terrorism. Yes, my people, that is what they are calling the protest that was made. My people, these zoo people, they off me, because me, I know come, they understand. Your people are coming out to protest because of how they are suffering, and you are calling it, you're calling it terrorism. You're calling what they did terrorism, saying that this so-called principal financed terrorism. My people, if you look at it, this is the same kind of thing that happened during when Boko Haram started giving issues, and the indigenous people of Biafra also came out and did a protest during that time, and they left Boko Haram, that was actually a known terrorist group, and decided to name Biafra movement, or IPOB, a terrorist group. And people, look at it and look at what has just weigh the same thing that happened then and weigh the same thing that is happening now. You will just come to find out that it is the same thing. It is the same people that they are dealing with. They change government or they change authority, but it's the same set of people, the same kind of mindset, the same cabal that is still in power at the moment. That is just the truth of the matter. Okay, so coming from the Sahara Reporter, they said here that it has been reported that the school administrator had been invited by the Office of the Deputy Commissioner of Police Intelligence Response Team, IRT, Department of Force Intelligence, over allegations of criminal conspiracy, terrorism, financing, and treasonable felony, subversion, and cybercrime. All these things just because of someone is linked to supporting or financing the end bad governance. That is just it. Okay, the Nigerian police have invaded the house of principal of Stars of Nation Schools in Nasarawa State, Mrs. Helene Batubo, in connection with end bad governance protests. It was reported that the school administrator had been by the Office of the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Intelligence Response Team, IRT, Department of Force Intelligence over allegations of criminal conspiracy, terrorism, financing, and treasonable felony, subversion, and cybercrime. The invitation, detailed in an official letter, required the school principal to appear for an interview on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, at the IRC complex in Guzapi in district. It says here that on Tuesday, it was reported that the Batubo is a stepdaughter of Mr. Andrew, who owns the school and runs the bookshop on the second floor of the Nigerian Labour Congress, which is in Abuja. So, the bookshop, along with other rooms in the building, was raided by the security agents, who carted away some materials, claiming that the materials were used to incite and organize the ongoing bad governance protests in the country. It just lets you know that when the PM Ekpa said that Igbos should avoid joining, Biafrans should avoid joining this thing, they come the para, say why PM Ekpa go they call that kind of thing. Why is he saying to look at the results? Look at the result that these people are looking for who to arrest after when people came out to protest is now a bad thing. To come out and speak for yourself is now a bad thing. My people, they shock me. If you know they shock you now, they shock me. He says that it was reported that the police raided the house of the school principal, and coming from the sources, they said they have invaded the house of the principal of the Stars of Nation Schools in connection with the end band governance protests. They invited them and they sent a letter that next week they will come, but they burgled the house. Rather, let's say they said that they would come next week, but instead they now came the day they sent the same letter They came, in fact, they did not come the day they sent the letter, rather, but they came before when they said they would actually come to raid. And that is just the truth of the matter. They would always trick you and say something else and do whatever they would want to do at the end. That is just what these people are known for. That is what they would always do. Because, of course, they would not want people to be caught. Yes. So he says here also, one of the things we've gotten is that this set of things that are happening, we should just know that it should be taken into record that these things are fully done just because of the things that concern the Biafra movement. And people, let us be aware of these things and be very, very wary. Avoid anything that PM tells us to avoid, because this is the result. This is just the result of it. Okay, anyway, Shana, so it be, na so it hot, my people. As the hot we have a big news coming, big news voice notes recording coming soon, immediately after I'm done. And my people, listen carefully. It is connected with the Biafra movement and everything that we've been fighting for. Listen attentively. Yes, thank you.
On any further project of the Nigeria terrorist state targeted at bringing in Boko Haram for training in Biafra land, or to be used to house fighters that the intention was to use against Biafra forces. Because the Nigeria terrorist army has been defeated, and all they do is to bring in fighters in whatever guise. Biafra land is not good for Chinese loan. The Biafra people were excluded during the time Nigeria state took loan from China. Our land and our people are not good to be part of the dividend of Chinese loan. Biafra land is not good for rail line, where every part of Nigeria, as they created it fraudulently today, has benefited from the rail line, except Biafra land. Biafra land is not good to have seaport, irrespective of the fact that the Gulf of Guinea is connected to the Biafra land. Biafra land is not good for the headquarters of many multinational corporations that came to Nigeria or Niger area to do business only and solely for the natural resources that is found in Biafra land. None of these multinational corporations has their head office or headquarters in Biafra land to create job for the Biafra people, indigenous people. Biafra land is therefore not good for IDP camp or in any name that will accommodate any terrorists from northern Nigeria or from any part of the world. Biafra land is not a dumping ground for terrorists. For that reason, the Biafra Defense Forces have destroyed the property and the facilities, and of course, anything that is connected to it will be destroyed in Biafra land. It is a message that we are sending out to the terrorist state to prove the capacity that Biafra government controls Biafra territory from exile, and of course, with the activities of the de facto government in the homeland. The responsiveness of the Biafra government has shown that the Biafra government take the security of lives and properties of our people, especially our women and children, very seriously. We have fought Nigeria terrorism for the past 3 years, secretly. And I wish one day the world will want to know what has happened in Biafra land from 2021 to this date. And we have been able to secure successfully the land of Biafra. It is only in Biafra land that our people are not living in IDP camp. Across Nigeria, every other region, people are living in IDP camp. Like they have come shambolically, claiming that people from the north will be moved to Biafra land, where Biafra forces and defense have been able to secure our land against the terrorism. We also have intel that the proposed movement of these people were actually in order to bring in Boko Haram fighters to Biafra land to fight against Biafra forces. My fellow Biafran, in Yoruba land, the Yorubas are taking refuge in neighboring country, Benin Republic, for insecurity by the Nigeria terrorism or Nigeria terrorist state in the name of the Islamic expansionist Usman Dan Fodio legacy. Many Yorubas are today living in Benin Republic. They left the ancestral land as they are looking for a safe place to stay. The people that have chased them out of the ancestral land are Fulanis. They call them Fulani herdsmen. They have occupied Yoruba land, and today many of them have left their land and they are not secured in their own land. Biafra land will not be the same. Biafra will continue to respond to Nigeria terrorism plan and tactics very ruthlessly in defense of our land. While Nigeria terrorist state have openly supported Palestine independence and continue to financially support terrorism against Israel, the Biafra people will continue to stand with Israel, and at the same time, we are not against those agitating for independence of South Palestine or for self-determination. But we are strongly against the terrorism against Israel and against the state of Israel. Nigeria always go to the United Nations General Assembly to advocate for the freedom and self-determination of Palestine, and these are people who have not fixed their own problem in Niger area. Today, we will do worse than what the Palestinians have done, if that is what will make the world to listen to us. Palestine have not lost 3 million children. We did. We lost 3 million children from 1967 to 1970. Palestine have not lost what Biafra lost. Palestine do not have what Biafra have. We power Nigeria's economy from our natural resources. What do we get in return? Marginalization, killing, pogroms, and what have you. On this note, just for the latecomers who have not followed the event of Nigeria and Biafra for a very long time, I want the Biafra media to play the representation and advocating of the independence of Palestine by the former president of Nigeria in the name of Muhammadu Buhari, because I have come across many people commenting on social media and they were outraged about the current vice president, who is, by the way, the founder of Boko Haram, advocating for independent state of Palestine. I would like the media team to play that, as on that particular rock, I will build my church today. Media team, over to you, please.
As we engage in these annual debates, we need to remind ourselves of the principles that led to the founding of the United Nations. Among those are peaceful coexistence and self-determination of peoples. In this context, Mr. President, the unresolved question of self-determination for the Palestinian people and those of Western Sahara, both nations having been adjudged by the United Nations as qualifying for this inalienable right, must now be assured and fulfilled without any further delay or obstacle. The international community has come to pin its hopes on resolving the Palestinian issue through the two has no more excuses or reasons to delay the implementation of the long list of Security Council resolutions on this question. Neither do we have the moral right to deny any people their freedom or condemn them indefinitely to occupation and blockade. Mr. President, delegates of member countries, United Nations is 70 years old. It can
Thank you very much. I would also like to have the latest video from the United Nations General Assembly of the current Vice President of Nigeria, who was the founder of Boko Haram. Thank you very much.
Today, we are all witnesses to the heart-wrenching situation in Gaza and other Palestinian territories. We cannot discuss war and peace, conflicts and resolution, or humanitarian imperatives today without reflecting on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that has been raging since 7th August last year. Of course, the conflict predates this period and has been simmering for a better part of half a century. What it tells us is that the international community has failed to live up to the spirit and aspirations of the United Nations to rid the world of inequality, violence, and domination of one people by another. Justice is antithetical to revenge. Freedom is an inalienable right and a natural entitlement that cannot be denied to any people. The Palestinian people deserve their independence. They deserve to have a home of their own in territories already recognized by this very assembly and by international law, which is being routinely ignored. Nigeria continues to urge efforts to bring back on track the two-state solution that offers the prospect for a new beginning for the region. Nigeria reaffirms to supporting United Nations peacekeeping operations. We recognize the need for Africa to build strong and professional armies to meet the multiple challenges we face. Consequently, we reiterate the call for international support to operationalize the African Standby Force, in addition to the provision of requisite support and resources to ensure the upgrade, take-up, and effectiveness of a center of excellence on issues of counterterrorism in Africa. Mr. President, reform of the Security Council is critical if the UN is to strengthen its relevance and credibility in our rapidly changing world. Some permanent members of the United Nations Security Council have offered encouraging, if tentative, indications of support on the issue of reform.
Thank you very much. My fellow Biafrans and listeners from across the world, with the clip you just listened to, the last one is the current Vice President of Nigeria, who is the founder of Boko Haram. The first video you listened to was the former President of Nigeria, who also was one of the Islamic pillar, fundamentalism pillar in Nigeria and in Africa. Nigeria, with this, has demonstrated to be enemy of America and enemy of the West. While the Biafra will continue to support the state of Israel, have you seen that this is a black and white that can never mix together? Nigeria have advocated for the independent state of Palestine, which we are not against as a people looking for freedom. But what we are against is terrorism against the state of Israel. And the 7th of October attack, terrorism attack against Israel, Biafra people continue to condemn that terrorist attack. Nigeria, having advocated in 2024 for the independent state of Palestine, should be bold enough to also accept the outcome of the Biafra self-referendum in peace or in pieces. I want you all to understand that Nigeria can never be trusted. America can never trust Nigeria. The West can never trust Nigeria. Nigeria remains an Islamic fundamentalist country that all the agenda is to support anything anti-West and anti-America. It does not matter how they pretend with you today, they will end up becoming your worst enemy. The earlier the world, the Western world and America accept the state of Biafra as only true allies in the West Africa, the better for them. Examples are many. I will use Iraq. I can also use Afghanistan. After 23 years, America pumped billions of dollars into Afghanistan. Today, Taliban are completely in charge of American weapons that America struggled for 23 years to stabilize that country. Nigeria will do worse than Afghanistan if Biafra is not supported. There are several compelling reasons why as many as 50 million Biafrans who voted in the ongoing Biafra self-referendum use their vote to advocate for independence of Biafra. The reasons are very numerous. And I will take it one at a time. From the historical injustices against Biafra people, the Nigeria genocidal war against Biafra from 1967 to 1970, also known as the Biafra War, was a brutal chapter in Nigeria history. The eastern region, known as Biafra, declared independence as the Republic of Biafra after enduring many years of systematic marginalization and violent pogroms in the northern Nigeria and other parts of Nigeria. The war resulted in an estimated 1 to 3 million deaths, children, primarily from starvation due to the blockade imposed by the Nigeria terrorist government. This tragic history has left deep scars in millions of Biafrans and, of course, in Biafra consciousness, especially when the post-war reconciliation was superficial and incomplete with the IRRR. The continuous reference of the Biafra War serves as a painful reminder that the Biafra people were once persecuted and betrayed by a country that was supposed to protect them. That betrayal has tripled today after over 50 years. We have seen the killings of Biafrans and destruction of their businesses across Nigeria, not just in the northern Nigeria today, but also in the southwest Yoruba land. In Lagos, to be precise, we saw pogroms against Biafrans in Lagos after 2023 election. And I will take it on the economic exploitation. As Nigeria celebrates their false, failed independence, the division of Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones without the consent of the people was an injustice taken too far that have cut the wound of the war even deeper than as we thought. The eastern region, which is supposed to be called Southeastern or Southeast region, in accordance with the geography, today it is called the Southeast instead of the Southern region. They manipulated the geographic, manipulated the demography in order to fight the freedom and suppress and subjugate Biafra people not to rise up. The region which would form the heart of modern Biafra is rich in natural resources, particularly oil. Despite this wealth, the artificial and the fake Southeast feel disappropriately excluded from the economic and political benefit of their own land. The so-called Niger Delta, which majority falls within the proposed Biafra borders of today, generate a significant portion of Nigeria wealth through crude oil. Yet, that region remains underdeveloped, suffering from poor infrastructure, environmental degradation, and poverty. Yet, they are faced with Nigeria terrorist army bombardment, like the recent killing in the Biafra Okoma community in Delta. The argument for Biafra is also an economic one. The resources of the Biafra people are being siphoned to enrich a far distant federal government in Abuja, while the region remains underdeveloped. That is coming to an end with the declaration of the restoration of independent state of Biafra, coming this year, 2024. My fellow Biafrans, we also suffered what I call the political marginalization within the Nigeria state. Since the end of the Biafra war, Biafra people have constantly been sidelined from the Nigeria political landscape, despite being one of the three largest ethnic groups. No Igbo-speaking Biafra person has held the presidency since 1983. Key government positions, security appointments, and the military leadership role are disproportionately skewed in favor of the Northern Hausa, Fulani, and Western Yoruba elites. Many Igbo-speaking Biafrans believe, and of course it's a fact, that this is a deliberate exclusion from power to prevent their voices from being heard in decision-making process. While those who happen to be very close to power have sold their subconsciousness to self-aggrandizement, those who may have positive agenda that could shape the country future are not allowed. But for complete freedom of Biafra people, where the aspiration of every Biafran will be achieved, where the potential will be attained, where Biafrans will compete among nations in innovation, where free education will be mandatory, where our hospitals will be equipped, and the national insurance scheme will be completely functional. My fellow Biafrans, compelling reasons why Biafrans are leaving Nigeria are many. I'm just taking a few of them today. We have also cultural and ethnic disparities. Nigeria is an amalgamation of hundreds of ethnic groups with distinct cultures, languages, and worldviews. Biafrans, with their entrepreneurial spirit, democratic social structure, and emphasis on individual merit, often found themselves at odds with a more hierarchical feudal system, and I call it nomadic system of the North, and the communal political structure of the Yoruba West. Many believe that the deep-seated differences between the ethnic groups in Nigeria makes it difficult to forge a cohesive national identity, which is fact, leading to continuous frictions and disharmony, and I call it dangerous diversity, which will never ever work in the modern age. Biafra, on the other hand, would allow the people to govern themselves according to their own culture and cultural value and system in a confederation and a confederating state of Biafra. Have been on the rise across Nigeria, with the Biafra people often caught in the crossfire. In particular, they come in the form of Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, and other extremist groups. They have targeted civilians, with the government sometimes supporting them to offer adequate protection. In many cases, the Biafra people are specifically victimized, with the Nigeria state either unwilling or unable to ensure their security. The renewed call for Biafra is rooted in the fact that an independent state of Biafra would be better equipped to secure the lives and property of its citizens, free from corruption and inefficiencies of the Nigeria terrorist government. I want to remind you that a few years ago, heads were being beheaded in Biafra land. Today, that particular insecurity killings of Biafra have ended with the emergence of the Biafra Defense Force. And of course, with the formation of the Biafra government, both de facto government and government in exile. We are also facing, within the Nigeria state, youth unemployment and economic stagnation. The Biafra people are renewed for their entrepreneurial prowess, with success